Welcome to English Learning Through Podcasts, a daily 5-minute program from the Lock One English podcast. This program is designed for English learners, so we speak a little slower and we use words and phrases especially written for people learning English. Today, Brian Lynn tells the story of the president, also known as the father of the U.S. Constitution, James Madison. Jill Robbins reports on the rescue of a man trying to cross the Pacific Ocean in a rowboat. Alice Bryant gives advice on using word maps to strengthen your vocabulary. Then, the lesson of the day. But first, here is Brian. The men who created America's Constitution are often called the nation's founders. But only one of those men, James Madison, is widely considered the father of the Constitution. Madison was elected President of the United States in 1808. He served for 2 terms. But many Americans remember Madison more for the work he did to strengthen the national government before he served as president. Madison was one of the writers of the state constitution in his home state of Virginia in 1776. Later, he proposed a more structured national government after the Revolutionary War. That conflict resulted in the American colonists separating from Britain. Madison imagined a 3-part American government, one with an executive, a legislature, and an independent Supreme Court. His ideas became the basis for the U.S. Constitution. Tom Howard has served as an educator at Madison's home in Southern Virginia. He said Madison did not receive as much attention as some of America's other founding members. He is not as historically well known as other founding statesmen, Howard said, but he's certainly every bit as important. We are not even sure there would be a constitution had it not been for James Madison, he added. Howard noted how James Madison used his own library to prepare for the nation's constitutional convention. He went there and studied for months, having just a light breakfast, and then studying throughout the entire day before finally taking a break to rest and return to his work the next day. Historians say Madison took very detailed notes during the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He sat behind George Washington taking notes and trying to determine how the debates were going, preparing for the next day and how he would influence them. Madison understood his notes were important, not only for himself. He knew they would also be interesting for historians and others who wanted to know what happened at the meeting. He included information on speeches and ideas expressed by other delegates. After a new constitution was created at the convention, the legislatures of each state had to ratify or vote to approve the document. Madison and other supporters of the proposed government eventually succeeded in persuading the states to ratify the Constitution. He was then elected to the House of Representatives in the first Congress under the new government. But it was his actions in support of a strong national government and federal laws that earned Madison a place in history as the father of the Constitution. I'm Brian Lynn. A Lithuanian rower attempting to cross the Pacific Ocean has been rescued by an Australian warship after hitting stormy waters off the coast of Queensland. Royal Australian Navy officer Justin Jones said in a statement that Arimas Marcus was brought aboard the warship on March 3rd. The 44-year-old adventurer began his trip alone in October from San Diego, California. He made it to within 740 kilometers of Australia's mainland before running into a tropical cyclone. Australia's Maritime Safety Authority organized the rescue. It said the enclosed boat that Marcus traveled in was mostly destroyed by the powerful waters. He was only able to recover a few personal belongings. Marcus was stranded for 3 days in the Coral Sea, east of Queensland's coastal city of Mackay. His goal was to make it from California to the Australian state capital, Brisbane. The total distance is about 12,000 kilometers. The rower turned on an emergency signal while experiencing stormy seas fueled by 80 km/h winds caused by Tropical Storm Alfred. That led rescuers to establish radio contact with Marcus. He reported that he was fatigued. Navy officials said the warship was taking Marcus to Sydney in New South Wales. Rowers traveling by themselves have crossed the Pacific Ocean non-stop in the past. Marcus was attempting to become one of the few to cross the sea alone and without stopping. Peter Bird of Britain became the first to do so in 1983. He rowed from San Francisco and was pulled behind another boat for the last 48 kilometers to the Australian mainland. Even though he did not complete the entire trip alone, he is considered to have rowed close enough to Australia to have made the crossing. Fellow British citizen John Beaton rowed from San Francisco to the Queensland city of Cairns in 2015. He is considered by some to have made the first successful crossing. Australian Michelle Lee became the first woman to successfully make the crossing in 2023. She rowed from the Mexican coastal city of Ensenada to Port Douglas in Queensland. Another Australian, Tom Robinson, attempted to become the youngest to row across the Pacific in 2022. He was 24 years old at the time. During his trip, Robinson took a rest in the Cook Islands. He set out from Peru and spent 265 days at sea before he was rescued off the southwestern Pacific nation of Vanuatu in 2023.